Highway.
Y'all know what this is.
It's time, bro. Come on, time. You know what time it is, bro. This is an early edition of Saturday Night Antics. Tomorrow I will be going full blown live for the combine. So tune in. We're gonna have a good time. Tonight, we're gonna go over day one of the NFL scouting combine, man. Uh it was a great showing. A lot of news has come out of the combine. I think we'll talk a little bit of that here. Firstly, we heard that Jermod McCoy was not going to participate. Instead, he's going to wait to his pro day. He's off my list. All right, he's completely off my list. So don't want to mess with the injury concerns. We know Dr. Cooper specials. These guys never heal correctly. Did he have a setback? You know what I mean? Like I want to know. But anyway, he's off. He's off my board, bro. Forget about that. All right. A couple of other interesting notes as well coming out of the combine. Maris Leofau, according to Brian Schottenheimer, is going to be moved to outside linebacker. Bad news for him. Whenever they start moving you positions around like this, your days are numbered. That's just the way it is here in Dallas. That's just the way it is around the league. So, not good news for him. I don't like him as an outside linebacker. To me, he's more of a safety. You know what I mean? Not good for him, bro. It's just not. It's almost like he's going to be a placeholder because he talked about Donovan Ezraku being an outside linebacker, which I've been saying for many months now, and it's finally going to happen. Good job there. But to hear that that the other one is going to be Mirs Leofau, that to me is just a placeholder. We know they're not bringing back Sam Williams. Thank God for that. But Mirs Leofau, kind of a placeholder for right now. You know what I mean? So I think his days are really numbered. I mean, he'll probably be situational packages, and we'll see. Maybe Parker can get something out of him, and maybe this change will be good for him. You know what I mean? But typically, historically, when they start moving you around, it's really not good news. So we'll see how that progresses during the offseason, OTAs, mini camp, training camp, that kind of thing. But let's get to the meat and potatoes of today, man. Today we saw the defensive line, defensive edge, defensive tackles, and your linebackers. They hit the field today. All right. So a lot of interesting notes that came out of this. You know, let's go over. First of all, let's take a look at the list here of who the Cowboys have met with. All right, let's go over I have the latest list here comprised. Let me pull that up here for you here real quick. All right. And we'll break it down, bro. We'll talk about that as well. This is the latest news coming out of the NFL Combine. Let's get it going, dude. All right, let me see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, so as you can tell right here, this is the latest and greatest of who the Cowboys have met with. I've broken it down by position. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Let's see if we can look at this. Zoomed in, bro. All right. Shout out to everybody watching live and around the world, the billions watching, bro. We're talking Cowboys scouting combine. So, linebackers, they took the field today. Of note, and I'll talk about each one of these Harold Perkins didn't run the 40 down here at the bottom. Harold Perkins, he didn't run the 40. Sonny Styles, they met with him, right? A lot of mock drafts have Sonny Styles on the Cowboys board. He he had a Byron Jones kind of day. Him and Arvell Reese had Byron Jones kind of day where their status has gone through the roof. I doubt either. Definitely Arvell Reese is going very high. Sonny Styles probably has now jumped higher and is probably going to be out of reach of the Cowboys. I don't think he'll be there at 12. I don't see it. And that was kind of the talk leading up to the combine that there was rumblings that these guys were going to go early, right? And Sonny Styles, he did his thing, man. This guy really showed out. So he had a solid outing. TCU Caleb Elums, or he did everything. He did all the workouts. I thought he had an okay day. Jacob Rodriguez, bro, we got to talk about this guy, man. He had an outstanding combine, in my opinion. 6'1", so he hit those measurable metrics that Will McClay really likes. So he hit those. Arms, however, not the longest. I think it was like 30 and 7/8 or something like this, almost 31. But man, he looks smooth. His sideline to sideline and the drills, smooth operator, bro. So I like what I saw from him. Good hands, followed instruction well. Obviously, he was locked in, laser focused in this combine. So Jake Rodriguez, for some people that have him in the fourth round in mock drafts, that's not going to happen, dude. This guy's too good. He's going to go probably second round. He might even move into the bottom of the first. That's how confident I feel about that there. CJ Allen, he didn't participate, so I didn't particularly like that. That was disappointing. Kendall Daniels, he looks slow out there. I hope we don't draft this guy. I mean, he's probably a late round guy to me. You know, I mean, they do bring in all guys for all rounds here. Not all these are early round picks. Like Perkins, this guy, he's probably a day 3 guy. You know what I mean? Kendall Daniels as well. He's a day 3 guy. He looks slow out there. I didn't particularly like how he looked out there today. Let's look at the defensive tackles the Cowboys have formerly met with. Daryl Jackson, I felt, had a good day at the combine. He performed well in the drills, and he's a big man. Peter Woods as well, competing out there. Nick Barrett, Caleb Banks was out there. He looked good. The one that hasn't been confirmed yet is Lee Hunter. I mean, they met with him at the Senior Bowl, so maybe that's why they didn't have to meet with him again, because these are 15-minute sessions. But it's not to say that they won't meet with him again later or something like that. But Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, he had a really solid combine. I thought he looked good out there. Out of the defensive tackles that competed today, he looked good. Zane Durant also hasn't met formally with the Cowboys. He had an outstanding combine. DeMonte Capehart, I thought he did really well. He's a guy that I like. He looked good. He ran a 4.85 out of Clemson. So that's Peter Woods. Plays next to him. So Lee Hunter, Texas Tech, he had a good one. Caleb Banks, Albert Regis, Cowboys, I think, had interest in him at one point, but nothing official as of yet. DeMonte Capehart. Grayson Halton, Oklahoma, kind of whatever on that kind of. I'm not on him, but hasn't officially met with the Cowboys. But defensive tackle could be in the mix, So defensive ends, Like I said, Cowboys, they did meet officially here with Ruben Bain. I think his measurables are going to knock him down considerably. I really do. I think a lot of teams are kind of like the Cowboys in a lot of ways, where they're they're into these metrics, right? And he measured very short in the arms. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't think he's a lock for the top 10, man. I think that's going to drop him significantly. He didn't participate in the drills either. You know what I mean? So he was out there, but didn't participate really. So Ruben Bain Jr. could have a little bit of a free fall. So where will he ultimately go? Who knows? Could he be staring at the Cowboys at 12? I don't know that the Cowboys would take him. It's one of those deals where they have a lot of people that they have met with, and they have a lot of these measurables that they like to stick with. And I just don't see that he hits those measurables. Cassius Howell, Cowboys officially met with him. All right. He looked good in the drills today. He had a good 40. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Let me see. Cassius Howell, what his was. He had a 4.59. So coming off the edge, a 10 sack season. Only knock on Cassius Howell is going to be the arm length, right? Cassius Howell had a 30 and 1/4 arm. Man, came in at 6'2" and a half, 30 and 1/4, 30 and 1/4 arm length. So kind of short armed as well there. But the Cowboys liked him. Vertical jump was okay. 10-yard split was good. The broad jump. He's not very explosive. That's kind of what that tells me here. Let me share this with you. Let's pull this up here real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Hold on 1 second. Let's hide that shit. I don't know what that is. We're gonna share. Let me pull up this other information that I'm talking about here. This is Cassius Howell. All right, these are his combine official measurements, 6.5. Like I said, he had a good drill. He had good drills. I thought he had a good 40, but like I said, he's got the shorter arms, 30 and 1/4. Hand is decent hand size, height. But the explosiveness is not quite there. 32 and a half and 9 and 7. I mean, it's okay, but he's not the most explosive player. So how you measure explosiveness off the field, the higher the vertical jump, and obviously the more that you have on the broad jump equals explosiveness. So kind of in the middle of the pack there. Let me see if I can pull this up here as well. Got a lot of information that we can go through. We'll look at where is he at here? Trusty. Dane Brugler, bro. Dane the man Brugler. All right. Very quick with the information. I love it. Let's take a look at that now. Let's take a look at some of Dane Brugler's notes here from the combine. Particularly, we're talking about the edge rushers now. We're talking about Cassius Howell and a couple other players that the Cowboys have met with. So let's share this now. Dane Brugler. All right. So Dane Brugler, he has the 40-yard dash on the edge group. David Bailey, obviously, he's going to go early. You know what I mean? He did everything he needed to do to get into that top conversation as far as like, yes, he's a legitimate edge rusher for the draft. Malachi Lawrence, I'm high on him. I like him. Trey Moore out of Texas, 4.54. Cassius Howell, official visit with the Cowboys. Danny Dennis Sutton has also been attached to the Cowboys. Yeah, Nick Harris confirmed that. So Danny Dennis Sutton had a 4.63, which is pretty good for a big man because he's like 6'5", huge, huge player. He could give you some 5 tech in a 3-4 formation. He can move them inside. And a 4-2-5. He'll play an end there. You can move him inside as well. Versatility is the name of the game there with Danny Dennis Sutton. He had a good day. Jyshawn Barton, he had a good day as well, 4.64. George Gumby, that's what I'm calling this dude out of Florida. R. Mason Thomas would be a Will McClay special. Not a big fan of the Oklahoma guys. They really don't move the needle. If you draft him, you're not going to improve the defense. So stay away from R. Mason Thomas. I wouldn't draft him. Will McClay probably would though. T.J. Parker, I thought he held his own. I was hoping for a little bit faster speed out of him though. That was kind of disappointing. Let me see what else Dane's got here on his notations here. Malachi Lawrence, he was talking about here. Good. 10-yard split. And look at this. When we're talking about explosiveness, this is what I'm talking about. Malachi Lawrence had a 40 vert and 10-10. You compare that to what I was talking about, Cassius Howell. Malachi Lawrence is more of the explosive player. All right. So keep that name on your radar. Malachi Lawrence at a UCF. All right. Some more notes there on that there. Jermon McCoy tracking towards bus stations, eliminations. Arvell Reese. It was a hell of a day. Oh, we also heard about this news here. Wide receiver Jordan Tyson won't be doing off field. He had some kind of this guy's injury prone. All right. I like Jordan Tyson, but he's going to be one of these win healthy kind of guys. So I don't like that. I don't like the win healthy kind of dudes. So he's that. You know what I mean? The wide receiver class for this draft is not looking as good as I originally thought it was going to look. Lemon, he's going to measure in at 5'11". Cowboys, he's off the list. He's too small. That's just what they do. They don't like the short receiver, so he's not on there. This injury kind of guy, this Jordan Tyson, probably would be on their list. So keep an eye on that dude there. Carnell Tate, I like Carnell Tate. He's probably at the end of the day, I think Carnell Tate is going to be my wide receiver one. I think he's more well put. He's not injury prone like these dudes. And he's NFL ready. These other guys have some have warts to them. I don't like the injury issues with Jordan Tyson. Somebody else can take him. So that's the deal on him. Let's keep going through the list here of who the Cowboys met with. Let me go back to that real quick. Let's go back to who the Cowboys met with list. All right, you're hearing it here from us at the channel. So let's go ahead and share that out here. Let's take a look at this again. All right. So we're back at it. We talked about Cassius Howell. The Auburn kids, they look slow to me. Crawford, he looked faster, but the other dude, Keldrick Falk, right? Haven't met with him officially yet, but I know there's interest there. So, but Cameron Crawford, he looked faster than Falk. A lot of people have had Falk in the top 20. I'm not a big fan of him. He kind of reminds me of Taco, bro. I'm not a fan of Kedrick Falk. My sleeper, Joseph Josephs or Josh Josephs. Um, Cowboys met with him. Keep an eye on him. I like him a lot. They met with him. Um, Zion Young. They met with Zion Young. Malachi Lawrence. This is one of the guys to really watch. Met with him. Had a good combine. Trey Moore. I feel like the Cowboys always just kick the tires on the Texas guys. They don't really draft them that much. I mean, they did take Overshown, but other than that, they've kind of just teased people, and thankfully because a lot of those Texas D linemen haven't really panned out. You know what I mean? But here's another one. Trey Moore's this year's version. TJ Parker's on this. Akeem Mesador, the old man. Akeem Mezaold. All right. He's on this list. And the one that scares me, this shit right here, bro. R. Mason Thomas. Please don't take this guy, dude. This is a Will McClay bullshit ass special right here, bro. You know what I mean? Malachi Lawrence, Zion Young, Josh Josephs. I think he's gonna move up. The other guy that I like that they haven't officially met with, who had a good combine, was the Devil off the Edge. All right, talked about him. Let me pull that up here. Let's go back. Talking about oh boy, Vincent Anthony Jr. He had a good combine. LT Overtone. Let's go back and switch. Let's go back and switch to that here real quick. LT Overtone. Why does that keep coming up? Let's talk about the rest of these guys that in their combine. Combine. Can't even say shit right. Combine outing. Cap mode time, baby. Pound that like button if you haven't already. We're talking winners from this first day of the combine. I will be going live tomorrow. We're going live. We're going to watch this thing together. Vincent Anthony Jr., 6'5", 258 out of Duke. Solid combine outing. Cowboys haven't officially met with him, but this guy would be a really good fit as an outside linebacker coming off the edge. So, like you're talking about Maris Leofau, he's a placeholder, right? Let's be real. You draft somebody of a more realistic kind of edge rusher like a Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke, he moves into that place. All right. Um, Phenomenal. Jyshawn Barham out of Michigan, another one. The question starts to become, and this is going to be the battle that the Cowboys are going to face here, and fans as well. All right. The number 12 pick, right? Sonny Styles probably not going to be there. Caleb Downs, all right. They're saying that he could go early, but what if he's there at 12? He's short though. He's small, shorter, small arms. He's like a compact Buda Baker, maybe smaller, dude. So I don't know if they're going to take him. You know what I mean? So it then becomes best player available. All right. Best player available becomes in play here. So do one of these ends jump really high? Your cornerbacks. I like Mansour Delane. He's gonna measure in small as well. 5'11", 190. Not a Will McClay kind of guy. I like him. Maybe Christian Parker likes him. This is where we're gonna have to see the power of Christian Parker. You know what I mean? Because if they go by Will McClay's measurables, Mansour Delane's gonna be off the board. All right. Let me pull up these other notes here. Let's talk about this some more. So yeah, who then would be your top rated player? Would it be a receiver that's there? I think they're going to want to trade down, man. I think at 12, they might end up being like, man, we got to get out of here. We don't want to use this high of a pick. And I really hope that the Cowboys can get a second or third out of this, because I think this year it's going to be deep with guys that can really help you out. So, talking a little bit more here about some Marvin Jones Jr. All right, he is another Will McClay kind of guy. All right, I'm not a fan, but Will McClay probably is. Let me go back and look at my list here. They didn't officially meet with him. Well, that's a good sign there. But they did meet with R. Mason Thomas, like I said. Not good. The player that might be there might actually end up being Bain, because he might fall a little bit. He might be this year's guy that falls. He didn't participate. The measurables, I think, is a turnoff to some teams, and he could be there. But then I feel like Will McClain, these guys probably wouldn't take him. So who then do you look at? You know what I mean? Are you going to kind of overdraft somebody there at 12? Are you gonna take Cassius Howell there at 12? Are you going to take what then do you do there? I think this is going to get kind of tricky for the Cowboys. Do you kind of overdraft somebody like a TJ Parker or somebody like this? I don't think he's worthy of a 12 pick either. So, do you go defensive tackle? Let me take a look at my list here. We looking at our defensive ends. DBs are tomorrow, so this is gonna be a fun day. Another area of interest, because we're gonna be looking at safeties and cornerbacks. Cowboys have a big need there as well, and we're gonna break down, who the Cowboys could potentially be zoning in on. The Zion Young, he's getting first round considerations. Uh, Zion Young, he's getting first round considered. You know who looked good to me out here was this Mason Riger out of Wisconsin. I think this guy could be a sneaky steal for somebody, man. This guy was solid in the combine out of Wisconsin. Solid player. Uh, Look at this. 6'5", 251, big hand, good arm size. Fairly good split there. Explosiveness here, you got 40 and a 10.5 broad jump. Explosiveness. This guy could be one of those guys that the Cowboys call on draft day, and people are like, who the hell is this guy? Keep an eye out on Mason Riger. All right. Haven't officially met with him, but somebody to keep an eye on, man. This guy is pretty solid. Max Llewellyn as well. More of a 5-tech kind of guy. Somebody you would probably maybe consider later. That's why I wish we had some seconds and thirds, man. Not the most explosive, though, as you can tell. These are similar to Cassius Howell, 32 and a half. That's not too good. 9.97. So, not explosive. So, 5-tech. He'll be a D lineman, maybe a 4-3 end as well. Max Llewellyn. Definitely not an outside linebacker. You know what I mean? But not explosive enough in my opinion, and that's kind of my problem with Cassius Howell too, is the explosiveness. I kind of wonder about it in the arm length. Vincent Anthony Jr., like I said, I like him. Wesley Williams even looked good. His plays with him as well out of Duke. So a lot of these dudes really showed up here. Linebackers. Let's take a look at linebacker. and guys that stood out. Obviously, Sonny Styles jumped out of the stadium. Anthony Hill, uh, he did okay. I thought he would have had a better outing, to be quite honest. Okay, explosiveness. Like I would still take him though. I like him. 4.51. All right. So I think he had a good day. Kyle Lewis, this is a guy that they're talking about being possibly like a hybrid safety kind of dude. 6 foot, 220, 31 arms. Explosiveness. You see what I'm saying here? This is good. Sub 7 on the 3-cone drill. You want that. He hit that mark at 6.97. So that's good there on Kyle Lewis. I think he's going to participate in those DB drills tomorrow. So keep an eye on Kyle Lewis. All right. Possible safety kind of guy. He is a linebacker, but he is going to work out tomorrow with the safeties. So he knows that. He knows that teams are looking at him at that kind of way. So keep an eye on that one there. Carson Sherrard, I thought he had a good day here. Linebacker, he looked good. Justin Jefferson, pretty fast linebacker. Jack Kelly, he was good. Like the linebacker class is good, man. Like I'm confident that the Cowboys want to come out of this with a linebacker or double dip that they can do it. Jacob Rodriguez, I really like him even more. I like what I saw on film, and then just being the professional that he is, took care of business, man. He looked good out there. Jake Allday, he looked good as well. Another one to keep an eye on out of Cincinnati. So it was a good day, man. It was a good day for the combine. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's just another checkbox, right? But the focus is starting to come in clear here. All right, so you want to keep an eye out. And let me pull this list up again here. You want to start to put your board together after the combine with a list of these players that had good interviews. That's the one part that we don't get to see, that we don't get to know. You know, you might hear that they bombed their interview or they did really good in their interview, or this kind of thing. That's the one thing that we typically don't get to hear as far as like fans or media scouts. Um, but I will give you what I hear coming along the pipe. Like I said, I do have a lot of connections here as we get especially to the pro days. I know a lot of trainers. I've built a lot of relationships over the years. Been doing this since 2003, so I hear a lot of things and things that come to fruition. So you'll want to keep it here with me and keep that going. So looking at cornerbacks tomorrow, just a sneak peek. Like I said, McCoy's not going to participate. He's going to wait to the pro day. He's off my list. I don't want to do anything with that dude. Colton Hood, he needs to nail this. All right. Mansour Delane, I don't think he's going to be on the Cowboys list. Avian Terrell, how high would you take him? You know, would you move him into a nickel? He's one to keep an eye on. Davison Igbinosun, he's another one we talked about just the other night on the Frisco report. He's another one. Brandon, this is one to keep an eye on right here. Brandon Cisse with that 20th pick. I think if you go edge, whoever that's going to be, whoever that edge might be, they might reach a little bit on that 12th. Get ready for that 12th pick to be crazy. If they're stuck there and they can't move down, get ready for a name there that you're not thinking should be there. Like I'm talking about like one of these ends here, bro. Like that 12th pick could be something crazy like Zion Young. Uh Cassius Howell, possibly. TJ Parker. One of those guys could be that 12th pick. But anyway, looking back on moving down in that 20th, I think you could get your corner there. You know what I mean? But I think of all the guys with the measurables, Brandon Cissay's name is going to move up boards for the Cowboys, especially. He's going to hit those. Let me see if they have those in here yet. Let's take a look at the. Let me see if I have that here. NFL. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull that up here for Brandon Cissay. Let me see if they have his official measurables in here. They should. Okay, Brandon Cissay measured in at 6 foot, 190. All right, so kind of squeaked in there, right? But he hit the measurables. And he's a Cowboys visit, formal meeting. Okay, so let's see if he participates. Hopefully, he is going to participate, but keep an eye on him. Possibly there in that 20th pick, he could be there. The other one to keep an eye on that's going to interest me is this one here, Keontae Scott. And look at this. Another one of my sleepers that I talked about just the other night. Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. I love to see that, bro. He's good, bro. Like I like that. I like to see that. I just now noticed that. He's one of my sleepers. Let's see how he does tomorrow. Watch that Chris Johnson kid out of San Diego State. One of my sleepers. He's on here, formal list. So I just not saw that. But Keontae Scott, he'll be interesting to watch tomorrow as well. He's a guy that could possibly be your nickel guy, maybe even safety. Keontae Scott. So he's going to give you some versatility. This draft is going to be crazy, bro. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to keep a lot of us really on our heels and toes because it could really go any direction. The key is going to be the 30 visits. We'll start to see who they start lining up for the 30 visits. That'll kind of focus in a little bit more on that. Safeties and DBs, they have not met yet with our boy out of Oregon. They haven't met with Dylan Thinneman yet. I expect them to though, but they haven't yet. Caleb Downs is not officially a. They haven't met with him officially either, or they asked him and he didn't say. Like Caleb Downs didn't want to say if he did or didn't. So a little bit of strategy there, perhaps. And I mean that could be part of it. Maybe they don't want to say. But Dylan Thinneman did say that he has not met with the Cowboys yet. Only one that has that we've all kind of been talking about, or more of us have, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He would be another one of these candidates, possibly there at 20, right? He's kind of hovering in that 20 conversation. Let's see how he looks tomorrow. If he knocks it out the park, he could go up into the mid level of the draft, and maybe that's where the Cowboys might take him. You know what I mean? So Sonny Styles jumped out of the stadium. He's not going to be there. It would be miraculous if he is. But that's where we're at, man. Really good day today with the combine. These are formal visits so far that we have compiled here, and that this is just a sneak peek for tomorrow. We're doing a defensive backs tomorrow. We'll be going live. And a good conversation today, man. A lot of edge rushers, a lot of intrigue, defensive tackles. Daryl Jackson. Of the guys they've met, this would be the one for me. Daryl Jackson. I liked him. I liked how he played. and he followed it up with a good combine. So I like Daryl Jackson. Linebackers, pretty impressive. I was pretty impressed with the linebackers, man. They did their thing. I mean, Styles, Reese, Jacob, outstanding, outstanding days for those guys, man. So that's all I have tonight, guys. Just want to jump on here and talk about day one of the scouting combine. If you're watching this live or on the replay, pound that like button. That's all I have tonight. I will be going live tomorrow. Combine starts at 2 o'clock, so I'll be live here. Make sure you join here, and we'll be talking throughout the combine. We'll be watching these DBs. Who's gonna rise to the top? Let's see what we got in the comments. Sorry, I didn't get to look at my comments. I was talking here. Oh, your boy Mike, what's up, bro? Not Cowboys related, but Aaron Glenn felt. Oh, bro, I saw that live, and I was like, man, that's terrible, bro. At first, I thought he was looking down, reading something, but the camera stayed on him for a couple seconds, and then you saw his eyes open, like, oh crap, I'm busted. What a terrible look. I mean, what a terrible look for a team that had a bad season. You're a defensive coach, and it's like you fell asleep at the wheel. That was a terrible look. Let's go to the comments here, guys. Let's talk. Let's see what other comments you got here. Your boy Mike, appreciate it. Thanks for showing love, bro. Appreciate you coming through, man. Asian persuasion, my boy. What's up, bro? Good to see you in the house, man. Good to see you in the house. I don't want college, but I do want the Cowboys to draft Sonny Styles. I hear he's a really good linebacker and our biggest need. Yeah, he pretty much literally jumped through out of the stadium. He's gonna go crazy early. He's gonna be the legit guy. Oh, Danny, yeah, I didn't see you, man. I messaged you earlier. Sorry, bro. We'll catch up on the next one. Um, yeah, good stuff, bro. Dak and Aubrey, can you believe it? How day 3? Yeah, you never know, man. Right? He could be. I mean, those measurables don't align with what the Cowboys like. So, could they get stuck there at 12? Are they going to have to possibly overdraft somebody there? It's going to be crazy. I think that number 12 pick. I think for sure if Jeremiah Love falls there, which I don't think that's going to happen, but if he were to, he would be the pick. Um, I think Ruben Bain has a good chance of being there, guys. I really do. Now you have to juggle what you saw on film, which was good. He played really good, dude. Like I said, he reminded me of like a Jerome Brown. They have the same measurables. Jerome Brown from same university back in the late 80s out of the U, and very productive at the NFL level. Jerome Brown was a menace. Ruben Bain, similar measurables. Um, if he's there, I think there has to be consideration there. I mean, they did meet with him formally. You know what I mean? I think he could be there, bro. I think he will be one of these guys that kind of falls. There's always that guy that falls. Does he fall in your lap? You take the ball player, the guy that can play some football. The only thing that could be the roadblock is going to be Will McClay and his metrics. All right. We're gonna have to hope that this new defensive coaching staff can have some pull, some sway, and be like, "Hey, man, what you've been doing the last couple of years has been trash. We're the professionals. We have a proven track record. Christian Parker has won Super Bowls, right? He's a Super Bowl caliber coach. He knows the type of makeup. Let him lead this way, bro. I mean, I've broken it down here with McClay. Finally, other people are finally talking about it, which is good. But McClay doesn't do good with defense. And supposedly that's what he did at the Arena League. He was defense. He doesn't know it, bro. So we'll see, man. I think that as we get to this combine, it's getting interesting already. At that 12th pick, unless they change their ways, that 12th pick is going to be could be something crazy. Somebody's going to have to really show up here to really be worthy of that pick, because I feel like if they stay there and they draft a certain somebody, I think the fan base is going to be like, man, here we go. We overdrafted this guy. You know what I mean? So can you imagine if it's O-line? That would be the safest bet for Will McClay. Would be like, hey, we're stuck here at 12. We don't have the corners that we like. They're too small. The edge guys, they don't have the metrics that I like. But this offensive lineman is sitting here at 12. Can you imagine? Let's get ready. I love the intrigue of the draft, bro. I mean, just the potential headlines from what comes out of what shakes out of the combine. Your 30 visits. Free agency is going to have an effect on this, which is going to be happening already early March. So things are going to start to shake out here, guys. But I'll see you tomorrow, man. I'm going to be live, like I said, tomorrow. If you guys can join, hop on. And it's going to be casually watching the prospects and breaking down the latest news and rumors for tomorrow. So I'll be online 2 p.m. Central Time. And we'll get it going, bros. Peace out, everybody.